The Wolf of Wall Street put a million follower spotlight on XRP, and not in a good way. He asked, "What's the current pitch for XRP?" claiming that, stable coins have taken the throne here and Ripple's role, it really doesn't matter. And within hours, we saw the echo chamber it lit up. Some calling XRP, well, a meme coin with no utility. Others saying that, well, our best days are far behind us. What they don't understand is this: XRP's utility, it's far from gone. It is evolving, it is growing. And while influencers, they're going to chase engagement. That's the game, isn't it? Real builders, well, they're setting the stage for something far bigger than only payments. And when the noise fades here, there's a reason why institutional ETF demand might dramatically exceed expectations. We're going to go over that exact quote and what's expected there. Tonight, we're going to break down exactly why the narrative is shifting and why people calling XRP a meme may soon realize they've been the punchline all along here. Let's take a look at this. So, I like the Wolf of Wall Streets, by the way. I like his content. I watch it. And understand this: he's a top notch influencer. This guy ain't a hobbyist like me. He runs a media empire. And, these tweets about XRP today, they got him so many views and responses, and he's just doing his job. Let's be honest. That's what this is. Let's take a look at what he says, though, because we can break this down and show it doesn't really make much sense beyond the business of being an influencer here. He says, "I say this with no disrespect. As soon as someone starts with that, something's coming here." He's looking for an actual answer. What is the current pitch for XRP? The token, and he clarifies, not talking about Ripple, the company here. Western Union chose Solana for their stablecoin. Swift went with an Ethereum layer 2. Which is the selling point I've heard for years, which is factually incorrect. The point of XRP, the point of Ripple, has never been to integrate with Swift. It is to beat Swift. It is to knock them out of business. So it's sensible they would go a different direction than that. Stablecoins have clearly taken the reins for payments. So I get their stable being a play, but what utility does this have for XRP? First and foremost, I ask you this. If it means nothing for the base token, on the blockchain, then what the hell does Solana care if they did a deal with Western Union? Because it's not going to affect the Sol token. And why is Joe Lubin trying to build the next system for Swift? It ain't going to do nothing for Ethereum. Like, what works for one works for the other. If it's a big deal for Solana, if this is going to change the game for Sol, well, it'll do the same thing on the XRP Ledger. We know it's nonsense, doesn't it? That the more transactions you're doing on the network, the more liquid the network is, the more direct pipelines you have from TradFi onto the blockchain, the more valuable and useful both the XRP Ledger will become and the XRP token. Value's going to go up. There is no denying that. What is good for Ethereum and Solana will also be good for XRP. Now, further, when you deal with Ripple, you're a customer. When you build your own systems with Ethereum or on Solana, well, you're trying to build out your own payment network. In other words, people see this as real, that there is traction here, that this is the future, and they're going to try to jump in here and get their part of it. Not be a Ripple customer. They want to build their own system, but they are far behind. Understand that. Western Union, they can do this little partnership with Solana all they want. Are they going to be able to catch up with Ripple and all the things they're doing? Probably not, but we'll see it play out. To me, this is a bullish time. Payments are back in vogue. We're seeing all sorts of big deals between TradFi and blockchain, and that's exciting because, again, Ripple is a leader in this industry. Their weapon of choice is XRP, and more people will flock to this technology as well as we go forward. Payments are back in style and in a big way, and that's an environment that XRP is going to do well. It's a bunch of nonsense. Again, he's just drumming up a bunch of drama. He's not sitting here wondering, I wonder what's going on with XRP. Let me ask everyone. Like, he wants engagement, and he got it. He did his job, didn't he? But it's a bunch of nonsense. Then he comes out with this. If you get legitimately triggered when someone asks a question about your favorite asset, then you might be too emotionally attached. And look, this isn't a regular investment. We've been attacked all the way along. Been told, payments with blockchain don't make sense. They don't matter. If you're not mined, you're not a real crypto. Like, we've had to fight every battle all the way along. And so if you're now Ethereum and you're not running proof of work, or you're Solana, everyone's kind of enjoyed the battles we have won. And most tokens look more like XRP than they look like they did in 2017. Everything was proof of work. Everything had a certain way of doing things. The world is drifting the way we see it and the way we thought it should be, more so than the past. And we've had to fight tooth and nail all the way along. So I don't want to hear this stuff about emotionally triggered. It's just another, day for us at the office here, having to put up with this kind of nonsense and really push back against it with the truth and with facts. It's what we have to do every day. It's nothing new. They're the ones that pick the fight, not us. Now we see this. Bitwise, again, you see Wolf of Wall Street, just tweeting all sorts of stuff out about XRP or posting on X, whatever you call it, because look, it's a big topic and he's getting a lot of engagement from this. He says, Bitwise CEO Matt Hougan on XRP ETFs, flows will dramatically exceed what people are expecting. The big money, you see what they're doing. They are rapidly accumulating XRP. They know what's just around the corner. XRP hasn't been a top coin all this time, isn't going to get 8 billion of flows from these ETFs, and Solana's getting 6 because XRP is a meme coin. Further, I want to touch on that. We'll get on this meme coin nonsense here in a second, but the big money knows what's happening. This is a real blockchain with real potential, and the money's going to flow in here because of that. Ignore the noise. Understand the future here. Now, before we go on, make sure you're not watching this from the sidelines here. On this channel, we break the future before it breaks the news. So hit that subscribe button right now, because once this plays out, you're too late. You want to get on here now. Hit the subscribe button. Now let's get back into it here. We see this post here. People buy XRP because it's a meme coin. We can speculate about the future value and, who's going to capture payments and RWAs and all this stuff. But what's undeniable, I can guarantee you this, the everyday XRP investor, they're not buying XRP because they think it's a meme coin. They believe in its utility. They believe in its future. They believe it will change the world. An SEC lawsuit, delistings, nothing would push this investor class off of their investment, because they believe that soundly in the future of this blockchain. People are not buying XRP because they believe it's a meme. They believe it has a real future and will change the world, probably more so than anyone in crypto. This is a true investing class that sees that vision and thinks it will be achieved, truly believes that it will be achieved, and you can't deny that when you talk about XRP investors. Crypto Eddie and I sat down with Alex from Near, and really interesting conversation coming up here. He's talking about intents, which is really chain abstraction, pulling away all the complications of blockchain. One of the ones they're working on is Flare and XRP Ledger, making that very easy for value to flow back and forth in all sorts of chains. Artificial intelligence, getting ready for trillions. Yeah, I said that right. Trillions of AI agents to come onto the blockchain. Who's going to be able to scale for that true future? So looking forward to this one. Really fascinating discussion there again with Alex from Near Protocol. There'll be in the pinned comment a link to the X page. 3 big waves where Crypto Eddie and myself, we talk about blockchain, artificial intelligence, and really the intersection of both of those in the future of finance. Go ahead and follow us on X. As soon as she's done editing that thing up, it'll be coming out here shortly, and I hope you enjoy it when it does here. We see this CoinDesk, the world's financial elite are heading to NYC for Ripple Swell. Over 700 of the most influential voices, including leaders from NASDAQ, BlackRock, JP Morgan, Global Policy, will be converging at this conference for a 2-day gathering. Do you think that BlackRock, NASDAQ, JP Morgan, they're going to be sending representatives to the Dogecoin conference or some other meme coin conference? No, they're not, because there's real substance here, and this is a leader in payments, and they're using real technology. We can wake up here. This whole spin that's been put out today is ridiculous here. Masari Q3 report for XRP is out. It's an extensive overview of what's been going on. The highlights here, we see 7 ETFs have been filed here. 7 companies are pursuing XRP holdings and a DAT, digital asset treasury. Highest quarterly close ever. And we have a whole swath of really stable coins launching on the network, which is important. You want those to interact with XRP and other assets that will be launching on the network. Having a vast array of stable coins is great, and it's just an indicator of things to come here shortly. We see breaking. MasterCard is reportedly in talks to acquire a stablecoin infrastructure firm zero hash for around $2 billion. So the payment battles are real. And not everyone's going to sign up and want to be a customer of Ripple's. A lot of them are going to want to have their own infrastructure. They're going to want to try to be competitors to Ripple. The best will win out as we go forward. But what's exciting is we know this is real and that the future of payments is blockchain based, which is something we've been saying a long time. And again, I'm just excited to see this heating up because it's a great spot to be for XRP investors here. Justin, this is wild. OpenAI is preparing for a potential IPO with a valuation exceeding $1 trillion, which would rank among the largest public offerings in history. There hasn't been a one, I don't know why it says one of the largest. Maybe they're going to raise one of the largest amounts of money. Maybe not all that much equity is going out. But in terms of valuation, there's never been no $1 trillion company. This is wild. And this is a good indicator because we want AI spend to be pedaled to the metal as we head into 2026. That's going to give us a lot of rocket fuel for the crypto market as we go forward. We see this photo up here. President Trump saying his meeting with Chinese President Xi was amazing. A lot of decisions were made. Does this mean there's a trade deal and all squabbles are behind us? No, of course not. But what this does mean is hopefully we'll get a little peace here. And we won't get all this bickering back and forth and infinity tariffs and trade wars. Hopefully we just get some calmness because we don't need a lot of time to hit some of those numbers we're looking for. We get 60 days, 90 days of just like calmness come out of this, government shutdown, and it's going to be a runaway. So that's actually really bullish to see. Lastly, Zhao DAO is up. I think about 300 members have signed up so far. Link down below to the website, $10 to be a member for life of the Zhao DAO. Look forward to seeing you in there, part of the first DAO in XRP Ledger history, giving you a voice, a chance to participate. I got some good ideas myself, small ones, but good ones, for the future of this DAO and the future of the XRP Ledger we can talk about as we go forward. Together, we could probably put a proposal together. Don't interact with the X page, though. It has been compromised. I'll let you know when that's good. But right now, just don't click on any of its links. Don't interact with it. But the website's great. There'll be a link down below to the Zhao DAO website. Go ahead and sign up. It is live. And as soon as we hit 1,000 members, we'll be able to start putting out proposals and voting and all of that fun stuff. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.